Chelsea have been warned that Thiago Silva does not have the right support around him despite the club spending over £1 billion on new signings in the last 12 months. The Blues have brought in the likes of Benoit Badiashile, Wesley Fofana, and Axel Disasi to bolster the defensive options, along with tying Levi Colwill down to a new long-term contract. Silva has played every single minute of Premier League action so far this season, proving he is a key player for Mauricio Pochettino this season. However, the Brazil international's contract at Stamford Bridge is set to expire next summer, with talks over a renewal yet to take place. Todd Boehly has put a key emphasis on signing young, talented players which could pay dividends in the future, but leaves Chelsea lacking experience at the moment. Silva is one of a handful of players with a wealth of experience, and at 38 years old, he continues to prove his worth to the club. After a dismal 2022-23 campaign, the Blues missed out on European football qualification for this season, and Silva bemoaned his lack of Champions League football on social media last night. The Brazilian defender took to X, formerly Twitter, to share his disappointment at not playing in the competition, as he tagged the official Champions League profile in a post alongside a crying emoji and pinned that post to his own profile. Chelsea legend Frank Leboeuf has raised concerns with Armando Broja and hopes Christopher Nkunku will be back from his injury soon. Broja recently returned to action since he tore his cruciate ligament during preseason. The Albanian striker was on the scoresheet in a 2-0 win against Fulham on October 2nd. The 22-year-old was then chosen over Nicholas Jackson to start in Mauricio Pochettino's side's 4-1 win against Burnley, October 7th. He failed to net on that occasion and was replaced by his Colombian teammate at halftime, who did score. Leboeuf hasn't been convinced by Broja and is eager for Nkunku to get back to full fitness. The French forward has been sidelined since preseason after rupturing his ACL and is expected to miss the biggest part of the season. I pray for Nkunku to come back very, very soon, because Broja, I'm not convinced yet. And he comes back from injury, so it takes time. Jackson, yeah, he's getting better. But what I saw from Nkunku for several years, that will make a front line very competitive. However, Broja offers a different profile to Nkunku, as he's more of a target man. The Albania international uses his 6'3" frame to try and bully defenders, but he isn't the most prolific in front of goal. He's managed just 2 goals and 1 assist in 23 games at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea spent a large portion of the summer transfer window in search of a right-sided attacker who could drift centrally, with a plethora of names linked to the Blues. The long list of options was headed up by Michael Ollis, Mohamed Kudus, Ryan Cherki, and Bradley Barcola, and despite 2 of those players moving in the summer, neither joined Chelsea. However, in the space of just a few days, Chelsea had wrapped up the signing of a player they had tracked for months in Cole Palmer from Manchester City. Prior to the weekend victory against Burnley, Palmer had not scored a Premier League goal, with Pep Guardiola giving him limited minutes in the senior team at Man City. That made the £42.5 million fee paid seem extortionate, given that is what Tottenham paid to sign James Maddison from Leicester. But in hindsight, at 21, Palmer looks to be a highly astute signing, with his main qualities epitomized in the Turf Moor thrashing. It could certainly be argued he is very similar to his former Man City teammate Phil Foden. Both are of course left-footed, and while it didn't appear clear initially, Palmer has an excellent football brain which allows him to spot the right moments to pass, shoot, and dribble. In recent seasons, many have clamored for Foden to play centrally at Etihad Stadium and for England, and hopes for Palmer to do the same will likely follow, especially after Pochettino's verdict on his display. Brentford striker Ivan Toney is likely to be interested in a January move to Chelsea. That is according to journalist Dean Jones. Jones recently told Give Me Sport that he thinks Ivan Toney is interested in joining Chelsea and that the Blues have the highest chance of landing him. The Blues have been heavily linked with the 27-year-old as they consider bringing in a new center forward. Last month, the Evening Standard reported that Chelsea and Arsenal are weighing up moves for Toney, who could cost up to £80 million. On Toney potentially joining Chelsea in the new year, Jones said, Brentford have been great for him, but he knows that he's capable of playing somewhere bigger than that. So I think that Chelsea clearly is a club that have interest in him, and I think that he's interested in that too. I'd say there's probably the highest chance of it happening as we stand right now. Chelsea have struggled in the Premier League this season, but of course the Blues are in a good position to sign Toney. They are still one of the biggest clubs in the country and have the money to snap up a player like the England international. But the Blues' recent troubles have not stopped them from landing the likes of Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, and perhaps it will be no different with Tonney. Only time will tell. Until the transfer market opens, though, Mauricio Pochettino will have to rely on Nicholas Jackson and Armando Broja, who have reminded their manager of what they can do in Chelsea's last two fixtures against Burnley and Fulham. Chelsea youngster Levi Colwill has been amazing so far this season. That is according to Blues head coach Mauricio Pochettino. Levi Colwill, who's only 20, looks like being the latest gem produced from the Blues Academy at Cobham. The left-footed defender has been promoted into Chelsea's first team this year after productive loan spells at Brighton and Huddersfield Town. As it stands, he's doing an excellent job in the Blues lineup at left-back. He's most commonly recognized as a centre-back, though. Pochettino has delivered a glowing verdict on the impact Colwill's made at Chelsea this campaign. When discussing Colwill's quality, Pochettino said via Football London, "The good thing is that he is a player who can play both positions and his performance is going to be the same. He can play well as a full-back or as a centre-back. Because he has the characteristics and the capacity and the quality. For me, it's amazing what he is doing from the day he arrived to Chelsea with us, coming back after the loan at Brighton, and we are so happy with him in all aspects, his performance, professional aspects, and personality. He is young but very mature." Jamal Musiala has already hinted that he could, one day, be open to rejoining Chelsea. The 20-year-old midfielder, who stole the show as Bayern Munich clambered to a 4-3 win over Manchester United in the opening week of the Champions League group stage, swapped Stamford Bridge for the Allianz Arena in 2019. Then, a few years later, Musiala's family relocated on the south coast of England, although not for footballing reasons, where he would continue his development. His mom, Carolyn, enrolled in a 4-month Erasmus program at the University of Southampton as part of a master's degree at Frankfurt's Goethe University. Musiala quickly caught the eye of Chelsea, where he earned his stripes at Cobham training ground before deciding to return to his homeland and join Bayern. While the Bundesliga champions have shown no willingness to let him go, large sections of the Blues fanbase supporters want Mauricio Pochettino to sign him next after his impressive performance against United. In November 2022, Gary Neville told beIN Sports that he admires the £129 million rated Bayern star for leaving the West London club in search of first-team football. The former Manchester United defender said, "I admire these lads that leave.